This is my Dyadic interview. I'm being interviewed by one of my peers from the early college program that I'm in. You can get started whenever you're ready.
Which learning theory do you identify with the most and why?
I identify with the constructivist theory the most. I identify with this one the most because it really puts students at the center of their learning, and I think that helps a lot with their engagement and really being able to apply the learning and take it with them throughout the grades. I like how the teacher serves more as a guide rather than just that kind of like standard sit and spit way of learning. It just really allows for like students to get the most out of their learning, and it also aligns very well with project-based learning, which I like.
Okay, how do you plan to foster independent learning in your classroom?
I plan on really just making students be in charge of their own learning and driving it. I'm going to have students working by themselves through the workshop model pretty often, and when I do that, when students struggle, obviously I will be there to support them, but I'm just going to let them figure it out themselves first for a while before going and helping them and solving their problem for them.
10 out of 10. Next question. Do you plan on having a more student-centered classroom? If so, how?
Yes, I do. One of the ways that I really want to have a student-centered classroom is flexible seating. I think flexible seating is really important because it allows students to have better collaboration and to know themselves best. I think that kind of goes back to the fostering independence. It's knowing how you are as a learner and being able to make the decisions that will best benefit you as a learner. With flexible seating, students really have that opportunity. I also want to involve students in our norms. So at the beginning of the year, deciding with the class what's important to us and what's going to help us as a class learn best, and having the students really come up with those ideas. Another thing that I want to do to have a more student-centered classroom is allowing student choice and voice. When it comes to different projects, I want students to be able to choose if they want to do a slideshow, a video, an essay, or whatever else they think will best show that they've learned.
Okay. Do you plan on sticking to the traditional learning structures, or do you plan on incorporating other learning structures? If so, what structures do you plan on implementing?
I plan on implementing mainly project-based learning because that's the learning structure that I personally identify with the most. I was in a project-based learning program since 6th grade through 12th grade. So spending all that time in PBL, I think, has really made me see the benefits of how students can rewind. Let me have her re-ask that question and re-answer because I don't want to refilm all this. Thank you, Professor Capel.
Do you plan on sticking to traditional learning structures, or do you plan on incorporating other learning structures? If so, what structures do you plan on implementing?
I plan on incorporating project-based learning the most. I've been in a project-based learning program from 6th through 12th grade, and I've really been able to see the benefits that it has on students and fostering their independence and being able to really take charge of their own learning, and I really appreciate that. I also plan on incorporating outdoor-based learning in my classroom. I want to make sure that my students are out in nature and have environmental awareness and really understand how the environment helps, and I really like how outdoor-based learning has been proven to help with social and emotional skills.
What questions do you have for me, and ideally, how would I respond?
Okay. The first question that I would have for a district is, what learning structure does your school's current curriculum follow, and how much freedom are teachers given in differing from that? I would love to hear that a school is following a project-based learning curriculum, but I know that a lot of schools don't have that, so I just would really want to hear that they're giving teachers the freedom, here's this curriculum that you can kind of go based off of, but as long as you're meeting the standards, do whatever you feel free, and I think that's the biggest thing that I want to hear from the school. My next one is, does your school currently use PBL, or project-based learning, in any way. I would love to hear that they do use project-based learning. I know I've toured ZQuest, which is a project-based learning school, and I thought it was really cool because all of the different grades could connect in project-based learnings. But I know a lot of schools don't, so I think I just more want to hear that they currently don't, but they're open to the idea of having PBL. The last one that I want to ask is, how much freedom are your teachers given so that they can do things such as bringing in community members, taking students outside of the school, and other things like that so that they can participate in PBL? I want to hear that my school is pretty open to it, as obviously doing things like background checks and permission slips, that they would allow me to bring in audience members or parents so that students can have authentic audiences, or bringing in a doctor if we have a unit maybe on something health related, so that students can really hear from an expert, or that I can take students out, and that I'm just given lots of freedom, and also freedom in allowing my students to speak up about social issues that they're passionate about, because I know that's a really big part of PBL that I would want implemented in my future classroom. Thank you for interviewing me, Izzy, and thank you for watching my Dyadic interview. Bye.